Hey everybody, quick PSA. Easter is also not a pagan holiday. It is 100% a uniquely Christian adaptation of the Jewish celebration of the Passover, which is why the majority of Christians around the world refer to it by some variation on the word Pesach or Passover. It is only within Germanic languages that we use this name Easter, and that's because in the Middle Ages, a lot of Germanic-speaking peoples came into Christianity in Europe and brought their language with them, and they named the holiday after the month in which it was celebrated, and that month took its name from this Germanic spring goddess, something like Ostra. And that is as deep as the connection to that spring goddess goes. Any assertion that the traditions associated with Easter drew from the cult or rituals of that spring goddess are 100% fabricated, because we can actually demonstrate where those traditions came from, and we cannot demonstrate any knowledge of the cult and rituals associated with that spring goddess. All we have is the name and whatever we can reconstruct about that deity from the etymology and from comparative data from other ancient cultures, none of which actually inform anything about the traditions associated with Easter. Eggs and bunnies are uniquely Christian medieval European innovations. Eggs became a traditional way to break the Lenten fast, which is the day on which Easter falls, because they keep longer than meat, and we usually have a continual supply of them. Elites would start exchanging eggs as gifts and painting them red for the color of Jesus's blood, yellow for joy, green for rebirth and resurrection. Bunnies initially were associated with the Virgin Mary because the European brown hare could give birth to a litter, and then a short time later, far sooner than they should have been able to, they could give birth to a second litter. And so they became a symbol of parthenogenesis, of virgin birth. Now it's because they can conceive a second litter while they're still pregnant with the first. But if you look at medieval artwork featuring Mary, you can frequently see her surrounded by bunnies or even holding a hare. Now in the 19th century, our traditions regarding Easter were more or less kind of formalized, and they have adapted and changed since then, but the 19th century is really when a lot of this gets formalized. Now, there is absolutely no relationship whatsoever between any iteration of Easter and the deity Ishtar, who comes from the Mesopotamian pantheon, and specifically the Akkadian iteration of it. That connection is pure and utter nonsense, as are any connections to Baal, to fertility rituals that resulted in pregnancies that would result at the end of December in giving birth, and then in sacrificing babies and dipping eggs in the blood of babies, and all the other pure and utter nonsense that gets repeated on this app.